Well, good morning, everyone. It's Friday, and welcome to Inspiration for Today. Another episode from Bend, Oregon. And it's beautiful here. I'm shooting out on our porch. But I'm going to tell you about what we did yesterday. And as I do that, first of all, let me remind you, though, it is Friday, so that's coming up an exciting day of worship this coming Sunday in Clubhouse 5 at 9 and 11. And we will be back. And I just love to see you out at worship this Sunday. I can't wait to be home in that sense. I really can't. Well, I had in mind a show for you today that I thought would be wonderful. I still think it's good, but I think you'll relate to this story. I had in mind, because I had looked up what's around here in Bend that I would love to share with you, my Inspiration for Today family. And I came across that there are numerous waterfalls. And I thought, wow, that's great, a show on waterfalls. I personally love waterfalls, and I think you do too. Waterfalls are beautiful. So let's go out and we'll go to 5 or 6 waterfalls and share those on the show. Well, we started out driving, and I think I'll start by showing you some of our driving. It wasn't bad at all. In fact, it's very beautiful, isn't it? The trees, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of reminiscent of when we were in the redwoods. But these are pines. These are pine trees. And trees everywhere up here in Bend, Oregon. In fact, the drive that we were showing you was it's called Cascade Lakes Parkway, and it's one of Oregon's scenic byways. So it was really good. We came to some mountains that had snow on them. It's a very, I guess, popular ski area. Mount Batchelor is near here. So it's very lovely, and a lot of folks come. I guess we're in kind of the off season right now because it's not the summer when. Well, in a way, it is the summer. People still doing mountain biking and hiking, and you see them everywhere, but no one's skiing. And by the middle of November, they plan to hopefully open up the ski resorts that you're seeing. So we enjoyed our drive. However, our plans were thwarted. And I think this is something that you can relate to. Because I had mapped it out, and I'm like Mr. Planner, and we're going to go this way, and then we turn right there, and then we'll be left, and we'll be at the waterfalls. What I did not realize, and what the maps did not show, is that at each one that we went to, waterfall after waterfall, it either was, well, one we got to, and it said, and here's the exact quote. From here, it's an easy 3.5 mile hike. 3.5 miles each way? How can it be down? First of all, 3.5 miles is not going to be easy for Diane and me, no matter what. Now, you thought, okay, well, this is one waterfall. What about the other? So we of course, we went to the next one, right? Well, in that one, the road ended way before, and it was like 2 miles of very rugged gravel road. And we just didn't want to put our car through that. We just cannot have our car not working. We didn't even know what was at the end of that. Is there a hike after that? That's what we found on every waterfall. So friends, you aren't going to see any waterfalls on this show. I was so disappointed. It's hard to explain, but it is how I felt. And then I thought, well, maybe my friends that watch Inspiration for Today can relate to this as much as anything else. Disappointments in life. Is there something that you've been planning, or even that you prayed about, maybe not planning, but this that you hoped would happen and then did not happen? That you were very disappointed at the time? In a way, this one's pretty minor compared to some other things that you might have. This was just a one-day thing that disappointed me. Well, maybe there's a lesson in it for me and for all of us. The verse for the day comes from Psalm 33:11. It says, "The plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purpose of his heart through all generations." God is sovereign. He is in control of what happens. And sometimes what happens isn't exactly from our small perspective what would be best. And so we can be assured, though, that he has it all in hand and in control. The plans of the Lord stand firm forever. In my little minor illustration of this here, clearly it was not in his plan that today's show would be on waterfalls. And so we did what you might have done under the same circumstances, and that is we kept going. And all of a sudden we started seeing lots of other things. And lakes. Start looking at some of these lakes that we found along the road. Now, I didn't plan to do one on lakes at all. But God blessed us with some beautiful lakes. And one that was really big, I didn't know there was one there. It's called Elk Lake. And it was so big it had sailboats and lots of other kind of boats. And people were swimming and paddleboarding. It was just a gorgeous sight. A gorgeous sight. And then we went on from there. We kept coming across beautiful scenes and scenery. I hope it's blessing you. At the very end of our drive that day, came across some forestry that clearly had been burned out in a previous fire. And I kind of enjoyed viewing that. And my heart was encouraged because, and I don't know if you can look close enough in this picture, but it had been a couple of years ago when this burned out, and already small, young pine trees are starting to grow. And this is so typical of the Lord. The fire is devastating, and it's ugly, and it's harmful. But then God uses it to renew his forest. And it's starting to regrow already in just a couple of years. Wow. Kind of this, story right there. And so in a way that inspired me. And then as we continued to drive on, I just began to realize something. That I didn't get a show on waterfalls, but I did get a show on God's beauty and creation and lakes. And even this fire thing made me think about him so much too. Well, I don't know what things, or maybe you have some disappointments, but I just want to leave you with Psalm 33:11. The plans of the Lord stand firm forever. And because we know he is all good, and we know that he is infinite love, we know that those plans are actually the best for you. And that was the best for me on this day. Hey, God bless. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you at church. I pray that you'll worship the Lord this Sunday, and then we'll be back together on Monday. See you then. God bless.